5 powers combined, they summon Earth's greatest champion, Captain Planet.
Hello, I'm Mystical Blue and welcome to another marvellous video. Today's video is specially dedicated to the 90s kids, especially those who spent a lot of their after school hours in the 1990s parked in front of their television. Today we will talk about Captain Planet, he's our hero, gonna take pollution down to zero. What? Don't judge me, that was their title song and a very catchy one. In an interview earlier this year with Top Gun Maverick actor Glenn Powell, who is attached to the new Captain America live action project as a writer, it is revealed that we might be getting the live action film sooner than we can imagine. So it is the perfect time to revisit our favourite environment friendly superhero and his show, which aired 30 years back. Go Planet!
The power is yours!
What's it all about? Captain Planet and the Planeteers was a Ted Turner and Barbara Pyle cartoon show that ran from 1990 to 1996 under the production banner of Hanna-Barbera Cartoons. Captain Planet was an unexpected success. It starred a preachy, eco-friendly, pollution-aware superhero and utilised his abilities to battle concerns such as oil spillage, greenhouse gas emissions, and nuclear waste. Only the Planeteers, a group of 5 internationally varied teenagers with magical element-themed rings, could summon him. When those abilities were combined, Captain Planet would emerge gloriously into the skies, ready to confront a slew of pollution-spewing supervillains. Captain Planet was a geek compared to the dark and gloomy superheroes of the DC and Marvel universes. He spent a substantial deal of his airtime teaching viewers about recycling and energy conservation. He also never hit a bad guy. He always used other methods to stop them. Regardless, the kids enjoyed it a lot, and with 6 seasons which consisted of 113 episodes, the series was one of the longest running cartoons of the 1990s. The show received widespread praise for its coverage of complex subjects like pollution, poaching and deforestation, as well as broader social themes such as substance abuse, AIDS and bullying, in a way that informed, amused and energized its young audience. In terms of its legacy, the Captain Planet Foundation was founded as a business foundation to promote youth-led initiatives inspired by the show. In 2001, the organisation became an autonomous non-profit entity.
By your powers combined, I am Captain.
Previous cancelled projects. There have been several efforts to make a film adaptation of the series. The first occurred in 1996 when Boxer and Pyle wrote Planet, a cinematic version of Captain Planet. Michael Reeves developed the concept into Dark Planet 5 years later. The plot was darker than the original series and took place in a post-apocalyptic world. The script, however, was lost when Turner and Warner Brothers amalgamated in 1996. The film made it to the design stage before being shelved. Other attempts at a film adaptation were undertaken in 2007, 2011, 2013, but none were successful. Still, the 2013 one felt like it would be possible because Sony Pictures acquired the live action rights, or at least they were in the final negotiation stage of acquiring the rights. With producer Don Murphy of Real Steel and Transformers, Mark Gordon of Source Code and Susan Montford of Shoot 'em Up all on board, it had the blockbuster cred required to get some attention. Unfortunately, nobody knows why this project never took place. While the exact reason for so many attempts not taking any shape is difficult to pinpoint, one of the primary reasons was the writer's inability to understand the character concept of Captain Planet. According to the original show's creators, the writers wanted to humanize the hero and make him drink in a bar when that is almost impossible, as Captain Planet is not a separate individual but a reflection of all of us.
Planet! Go Planet! Well, Planeteers, what seems to be the problem?
Don Cheadle is Captain Planet, a funny adaptation. In a now classic series of funny or die videos, Don Cheadle took on the role of Captain Planet. They took the eco-friendly 90s cartoon to its logical extremities and made the absurdity a living nightmare. The original skit begins by mocking the show's several uncomfortable components, such as pretentious speeches and tree-based jokes, and features Cheadle all smiling in a powdered green wig. Then, he starts transforming individuals into into trees. First, the villains, then ordinary folks, and finally the entire planet. His youthful pals, the Planeteers, are first pleased but soon become appalled by his deeds, and they find themselves held prisoner by an openly deranged hero set on turning the planet green for good. The following sketches depict Earth under Captain Planet's ruthless control, with its few remaining humans living in perpetual terror of his increasingly unpredictable whims. He murders the Planeteers and even Gaia before being picked to death by woodpeckers in a shockingly brutal conclusion. Then, in an ironic foreshadowing of Avengers Endgame, the inhabitants of Earth are returned, only to resume polluting as before. The mockery remains centered on the cartoon's naive premise that climate change can be defeated by merely recycling and imprisoning a few bad men. As a work of humour, Cheadle's skits could go where more popular attempts couldn't, examine the type of hellscape that may grow under the control of an unstoppable entity. It's actually terrifying, which may explain why the humour still works.
The power is yours!
Are we getting a live-action Captain Planet movie soon? It was claimed in 2016 that DiCaprio's production film, Appian Way, was in discussions to acquire the cinematic rights to Captain Planet and the Planeteers to create a new spin-on the iconic cartoon series. Sony Pictures and Paramount formerly held the live-action rights before being acquired by Warner Brothers. During this time, Glenn Powell, the actor who we saw in Top Gun Maverick, was attached to this project as a writer, alongside John O'Matt, but news on this movie has been scarce ever since. At one point, the actor described the film as a subversive take on the subject. Years have passed with no progress, but Glenn Powell maintains there is always hope since Leonardo DiCaprio himself is a massive fan of the show and very passionate about the project. Knowing Leo, that shouldn't come off as a surprise. We all know his love for the environment, which was also evident in his Oscar acceptance speech. In 2022, Warner Brothers Discovery saw a massive wave of layoffs and cancellations related to their streaming service, HBO Max. Although, according to CBR, the restructuring should be complete for the time being. So, perhaps things are about to settle down sufficiently for Leonardo DiCaprio to fulfill his Captain Planet fantasies. At least, Glenn Powell appears to be hoping so.
What's the problem, Planeteers?
What could the story and cast of the movie look like? As previously said, Leonardo DiCaprio's Captain Planet project is reported to be a more subversive take on the original material, but we don't know what that implies just yet. So naturally, none of the cast members are confirmed yet. However, if you search the internet, you will see fans rooting for Zac Efron to take up the titular role and Zoe Saldana to take up the part of Gaia. It works for me. What do you guys think? Marvelous verdict. It is true that just recycling plastic bottles or saving water at a personal level won't make any severe differences to the environment. However, if there was a perfect time to reboot this superhero, then it would be now. Climate change and pollution are as much a threat today as it was in the 90s, if not more. And it is never a bad idea to instill good habits in kids from a very early age, as it only helps them be more respectful of the environment in which we live. And judging by what Powell said, we won't have to wait long to see Captain Planet's re-emergence in a live-action format. Who was your favourite Planeteer? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed watching this video, click the like button and share it with other 90s kids. I'll see you at the next one.